My name is Marlon,
And I'm James.
and this is Trash Talk and Tall Tales. We put up episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and make sure you check out our Spotify. Also, comment, like, and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. James, I think you have a topic for us.
Yeah, do you want to know two of the most overused words in the English language to me?
If I had to guess, love will be one of them,
Correct.
and I'm guessing hate will be the other.
A little off, but it's love and friend. These are two of the words that people use on an everyday basis, but at the same time, just because someone says it doesn't make it so. Everyone who says they love you does not, and everyone who calls you their friend is not your friend.
Very true.
Do you have any insight on, why I think this is?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but I know fake friends have been around since the biblical days. Everyone has their own agenda. I don't see why someone will fake to be a friend. I truly value my friendships. The few that I have, I truly value them. And I can see calling myself a friend to someone just to be around them. That makes no sense to me.
Agreed. I'm all about quality over quantity. Something my dad
100%.
told me growing up was F a friend, and the F didn't stand for find. As I got a little bit older, I understood what this phrase meant. A lot of times the people that you call your friends are not going to be around whenever the chips are down.
Ain't that the truth?
Most of these people who are around you are also enablers of your bad behaviors. One thing that I've seen over the years is a lot of times we surround ourselves with people who basically are yes men or yes women.
But
Like
why?
I think because in our minds, I think we want someone to accept everything that we do. But to tell you the truth, a true friend is always going to try to correct you and put you on that right path. They're going to tell you when you're screwing up. They're going to tell you when you are not with the right person. But on the other side of that coin, you also have those friends who are trying to tell you you shouldn't be with a certain person, but in the background, they're really jealous of you having another person.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't, but it happens. And sometimes I think we're either, numb to our own feelings, or maybe we're numbing ourselves with alcohol and other substances to where we can't even see the love not being real when it's shown in our face. But I've been in several situations where I've tried to be that friend to tell someone, hey, you're screwing up, or you could do better, or something like that. And
You
the
mean
next
as far as
thing I know,
relationships are concerned?
relationships or even just life in general. And the next thing I know, I don't receive any phone calls. I don't receive any texts, no support when it comes to when you try to do new things and create new revenue streams for you and your family. It's a really tough situation whenever, especially when you've been quote unquote friends with someone for a long time. It's just hard to really understand that sometimes you don't actually know that person's true intentions.
That sucks. That sucks.
A lot of times. Oh, go ahead.
The thing about it is that you can always tell a friend by your phone, by your telephone. When you're the one always reaching out, when you're always the one texting, if you stop and sit back and wait for them to do something, a lot of times they'll do absolutely nothing. You won't hear from them. They won't call you. Absolutely nothing. But as far as the support is concerned, yeah, I think that marks a good friendship when someone supports you, when someone gives you feedback, not only negative, but also positive feedback. Tell you what you're doing good, what you're doing bad.
Yeah, what you can improve on. I believe being a true friend is someone who's also going to hold you accountable to certain stuff. And I think a lot of times nowadays, people don't want to be held accountable for what they do. So they surround themselves with enablers that just basically agree with any behavior that they have, even if it's self-destructive. And the thing with love blinds people a lot of times to what is actually going on. You can be in love with somebody, and just because they say it to you doesn't mean they love you. You have to look at their actions. And a lot of times we think just because this person is coming around, or just because this person calls every day, or just because this person tells you they love you after every phone call that you have, that they genuinely love you. But really the truth is these people can have secret motives of their own. And I'm not trying to say this to be pessimistic in any way. It's just real life. It's real life out here when you encounter these people in the world. Some people, it's like that song says, some people want to abuse you. Some people want to be abused. I don't know if that's exactly the way it goes, but
It sounds different, but yeah.
it sounds a lot different. But yeah, like I said, I think a lot of times as human beings, we just want to have a good time and just run through life like there's no issues and no problems. And as long as no one's holding us accountable for the wrongs that we do or for the actions that we have, I think we surround ourselves with them and we just keep the bad behaviors and the fake love going. Now, with that being said, have you ever been in a situation where you've tried to tell a friend that this person is not good for them in a relationship wise?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you have to handle it with kid gloves, if that makes sense, because they will turn around and act like you stabbed them in the back. I mean, even though you're being truthful to them and you're on the outside looking in, you can see exactly what's going on. But no, that's the test of a true friendship. That is actually the test of a true friendship.
And most of the time, like you said, whenever you are that friend that's saying, hey, this person is treating you badly or this person is not a good fit for you, because, you know, if they are your friend, they're telling you things that go on in that relationship. And then if you're around them, you see those things as well. And a lot of times whenever you're that voice of reason, so to speak, they don't want to hear it. They do not want to hear it at all. They will start distancing themselves away from you. And sometimes that can be tough because you wonder, like, what did I actually do to make you be that distant? Like, what did I actually say that would make us not be as close as we once were? It's a hard pill to swallow, especially if you've been friends with someone for a long time. But at the same time, it's just a part of life. Like, whenever that love bug hits you, sometimes you look at stuff with rose-colored glasses on and you don't see that person is actually doing you dirty, you know, and you want to believe in that representative that you saw, like we talked about before, in the first early stages of your dating.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that person is, you know, it's just a false advertisement. So you have to realize that. And I have noticed with some people, whenever I stop calling, when I stop applying pressure, like checking on you every day and whatnot, I noticed the calls weren't returned on my end.
They dry up. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like no conversation whatsoever. If I don't call you, I won't talk to you in a month. I won't talk to you too much, you know. And then sometimes I'll try to reach out again and be like, you know, maybe they got busy, but at the same time, let's be honest, Marlon, you're never.
It only takes a second.
Yeah, you're never.
It only
that
takes
busy.
30 seconds. Absolutely.
Right.
Now,
with
I do
texting and calling, exactly. Go ahead.
Well, I do have friends that I haven't talked to in forever, and I still consider them my friends because when we get on the phone, when we finally connect, I mean, it's like we picked up from yesterday. So those I would consider my true friends. And as far as these acquaintances that I walk around, you know, I mean, if they're not there for me during the hard times, they shouldn't be around for me for the good times.
Yeah, and really, you never know, to tell you the truth, why these people are actually around you. You know, you think it's because y'all are having a good time, but hey, it could be because you're supplying a certain thing that they like. Maybe you're the one that buys all the shots. Maybe you're the one that, you know, buys the food when they go out, or you're the one that plans all the activities. And maybe they just need somebody to do that for them for their lives to be fulfilled in a way. And when it comes to love, man, like, you can sit up here and do all the things for someone and they just don't care. I've been in a situation where I've been at someone's hospital bed and literally got thrown away like a wet paper towel afterwards. It's just funny because, like I said, you may have the purest intentions in the world to someone, but you never truly know what's going on in that person's head.
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it makes absolutely no sense. So what are their motives? Why would they promote themselves to be a friend when they're not?
Sometimes people just want access to what you have access to, I believe. I mean, jealousy sometimes plays a factor in that, but let's just say you got to hook up on certain stuff. Well, that person wants to be around that hookup. Maybe you know somebody who's on, you know, if you like to go clubbing or to the bar scene, maybe you know a DJ or whatnot. Maybe they hang around you because you have access to that DJ. Maybe they're around you because you have access to stuff that they usually wouldn't. Like, say, if you have a four-wheeler, if you have ATVs or things of that nature, maybe they're around you just to, have those things to play with, even though they're not theirs and they haven't done anything to keep them in your life. They're just around you to use you, basically. You're basically just a pawn in the game.
It makes no sense to me whatsoever. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, I think when I call someone my friend, I'm there 100%. You can call me at 3:00 in the morning, and I'm going to be there.
Facts.
If you need to hide a body, if I could call you my friend, I'm going to help you hide that body. Now, if you're just an acquaintance and you ask me to hide a body, no, I'm ratting you out. That's
you got to do your own work.
I ain't trying to go to jail.
Your own work in here.
Absolutely.
But no, I agree with you, Martin. Like, if I consider you a friend, then you're a friend. I'm going to be there for you when nobody else is around. But I've just noticed in most instances, and let me say this, I'm not calling anybody out who knows me, but a hit dog will holler. So if you feel a certain type of way about it, that's the way it is. But it's just funny to me that people are out here in the world and they can't see sometimes the people that are around them are not the people that they need around them. Like I said, I'm all about someone calling me out saying, hey, you could do better, or you can do better on this, or you need to stop doing this. I like that kind of feedback. I like that back and forth because it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me accountable. And I'm going to do the same for my friends as well. And I feel like if you can't handle that, then we probably shouldn't be friends. We shouldn't talk. We shouldn't keep this charade up of us hanging around each other whenever that love or that friendship is not genuinely there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you're not talking about anybody in particular.
No, like I said, if shoe fits, wear it. If a hit dog will holler, hey, it is what it is at this point. But I think we all have gone through this in certain stages of our life. I think as you get older, you realize it a little bit more. And just like I said before, when my dad was talking about that, I didn't understand that as a kid. But as I got older, I realized a lot of times if I was going through something, it was me. I was looking at myself. I didn't have somebody really that I could call and talk to. Now, I did have some, I'm just saying, but I knew the ones that I could do that with, and I knew the ones I couldn't do that with. So I feel like as you get older, your friend groups get smaller and smaller.
Oh, it dwindles. It dwindles. Yeah. Absolutely.
And life does happen. Don't get me wrong. People have kids. You've got certain responsibilities you got to, be accountable for, and I get all that. But, a true friend is really hard to find, and these people sometimes are latching on to people just because really they don't have anybody else. And that's a sad situation too. Have you ever been around somebody or known people who they're friends with each other just because they can't be friends with anybody else?
I don't think so. I mean, my friend list is so small. I mean, I usually just keep to myself. I have very, very few friends. It's such a shame because I really value friendships. I mean, you're supposed to value friendships.
Yeah, it's about the experiences in life as well.
Absolutely.
And experiencing something with a friend is an awesome thing. But I'm also a loner too. I can also, we've talked about this before. I can be by myself and be cool. But I've seen people out here who have linked up together and they're friends, and I could tell which one is using the other one. Like, I can sit there and look and be like, that person doesn't have anything going on for them. Like, they're not cool with their family. They don't really have any real friends. They don't have any real assets and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with not having assets, but sometimes people are around you because you do have these assets. You do have these resources. And the other person has all these resources. I'm just like, the only reason that person is around you because of what you have access to. And I just don't understand why more people can't see that. Like,
I'm a shallow individual. That is a
agree.
shallow individual if they're just there for materialistic things.
Yeah, and you've got to have your eyes open to see this. You've got to be able to distinguish from an acquaintance and somebody who's actually your friend. But a lot of us, like I said before, we are around people who enable us. They don't hold us. No one wants to be held accountable anymore for anything. And like I said, stuff that happens to us all. Like, we go through all kinds of stuff in this life, and it's rough sometimes. But a friend is someone who's actually supposed to be there for you, and a friend also holds you accountable to those things where they know you're messing up. And a lot of times, I'm gonna say this as well. I've also been in a situation where somebody has heard something about me, and when I talk to them the next time, they're like, "Oh, I heard this happen to you," and I'm like, "You didn't check on me?" You know, it was a big deal. Like you heard it was a big deal, and you didn't even think to text.
Absolutely. I've dealt with that personally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
And it makes you feel a certain type of way. It makes you feel like, wow, you actually heard this about me, but you didn't.
And they're supposed to be right there by your side checking on you.
Right. But like I said, I'll go back to that example. I've laid in a hospital bed at night beside somebody and been thrown away like a wet paper towel. So with some people, it just doesn't matter. So I just want everybody, you know, to kind of, whenever you're looking at your friends, just keep one eye open. You know, I'm not saying you have to be constantly looking out for red flags when it comes to these people, but don't be naive at the same time. And I think as you get older, you start realizing stuff and noticing stuff a lot more. So,
absolutely, your friend list just diminishes
Completely.
to single digits.
Completely.
Unfortunately,
and that's cool. That's just a part of life. But you know, but yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. I appreciate you listening to my rant, basically, and
as always,
inputting with your comments and everything. So I'll just go ahead and close this out. We're uploading new videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on YouTube. Come check us out on Spotify. We're there as well. And subscribe, like, and comment. And thank you for joining Trash Talking Tall Tales. I'm James.
And I'm Marlon.
Have a good one.